Are we live? Yes, of course we're live. Okay. You get a unique perspective into my office today. Hopefully my sound check. All right. Yes, it's not really this lovely place over here that you usually see me. See the green screen effect? It goes in and out depending on how much green there is in the frame. If I cover up too much of the screen, it goes to look for more green somewhere else. Oh man. Sunkworks. All right, let's get the music started. Where's the music? Where will the music be played? Over a desk. That is a desk. Where is B desk? B desk? We're going to talk about this page that I forgot to click on yesterday. If you watched me fumble my way through the Flux bootstrap migration of Flux-Operator, there's actually a page that documents exactly how to do this. If we had just gone one page further into the docs, we would have seen. So we read this page a little bit, figured out some things here. Saw this new feature in 0.4.0, the new Flux-Operator feature sync. But we failed to go the one step further that would have showed us exactly the right steps to replace our existing Flux system directory, and how you can be assured that you're not going to wipe anything out, and how you know that it's successful. Okay, so all that stuff is fun, but we need some music first. We're not going to try my YouTube music playlist again. That was kind of, we got a copyright strike, let's put it that way. Another French song, Yay. Did we listen to that one yesterday? I feel like there was a song I wanted to play that I spotted scrolling, but now I've forgotten.
Sombre pensée comme un antidote pour me protéger. Faut oublier. J'oublie les mensonges et les acteurs manqués. Parfois certains songes trahissent mes pensées. Faut oublier. Je mitraille en automatique. Dans ma tête ça va très très vite. Ma mémoire est sélective. Les souvenirs qui dérangent dérivent vers je ne sais où. Ma triste pensée, j'évite toutes ces guêpes qui pourraient bien me tuer. Faut oublier, je mitraille en automatique. Dans ma tête ça va très très vite. Ma mémoire est sélective. Les souvenirs qui dérangent dérivent vers je ne sais où. Vers
Well, that was lovely. That was lovely. Where is my... Oh, I don't know if we can do this here. Yeah, I might have to say goodbye to the camera for today. So, hold on a second here. So this here is the cluster we're migrating to. Oh, that one. I'm not even sure how to point in this direction. That one there? Yeah. That's what we're going to migrate to. And you may notice there's not as much fan noise in the background today with this machine running. C'est magnifique. Okay. That's oh, yep, we're not going to push that button again. All right. We're going to shuffle some of this stuff off of the screen here. Or which screen are we going to use today? I think actually we want this one. So put this back over here. Definitely going to need both terminals. All right. And I'm going to kill the microphone as well, like we did yesterday. I thought that was pretty productive. But before I do, I have to go. I'll be right back. I forgot something essential for the stream. Agua frio. It's rebooting. It's going to reformat all its disks. Hopefully all its disks. That's the button I clicked on. I have a bit of apprehension because I've used the Talos CTL command before, and I think there's a bug somewhere, personally, because telling it to wipe all the disks doesn't work reliably, but that might be a little bit of a hair trigger. Now that looks like what we expected to see here. We've seen this before. Something in the BIOS for this one particular machine, the one that has the DVI port, will not net boot when the disks are wiped. So I have to come down here and press F12. Yep. And tell it to net boot once. There. And hopefully it's just this one machine that has the problem, because the other ones I haven't plugged a monitor into for a long time, unless I brought it over here to the desk, and then it wasn't plugged into the network, so it wouldn't have been net booting anyway. At least it wasn't plugged into that network. So that machine is going to download a new Talos OS. We can see it's still not available. And we're going to do the same thing to the other one. We need this kind of visibility for a speed run, so we have proof. So the first time it boots up in maintenance mode, so this doesn't count towards our speed run. And we're going to switch from Talos Bootstrap to Talm this time. Okay, so we're not going to use Talos Bootstrap again, because it's a dialog interface. It's a bit clunky, and it has surprising failure modes, as we've seen. But Talm is well supported, and Talm is declarative. So we're going to move. Oh, and Talm also, I'm not sure what it is about the dialog interface or the GNU tools or something. I don't know what it is. But when I tried to do Talos Bootstrap on my Mac, that's why we're SSHing into this machine. So in order to repurpose this machine so we can't SSH into it anymore, it's going to join the cluster. We're going to need to be able to do this on a Mac, so we can do it with Talm. And we'll see how all of these files now, alright, that we've got post checks. Once these machines are both responding in maintenance mode, we can start the timer. And I guess today the only meaningful part for the speedrun is going to be the cluster up. We want to see how long it takes to get Flux bootstrapped successfully on the child cluster we're not going to do a flagger today. Sorry. But then once we stop the bootstrap timer, we're going to try to migrate to this Flux instance again. And it should be much easier this time. I've tried it a couple times. So we can delete these files here. There, we got our post checks passed. I see the machine is in maintenance mode behind me. So we can remove these files because they're not effective anymore. The cluster hasn't been bootstrapped. There is no Talos config. Anyone can do it. If you have access to my home network right now, it would be a great time to interrupt the stream and cause some havoc. We don't need that kube config either. And control plane.yaml. Yeah, we got rid of worker.yaml, so we'll get rid of control plane.yaml. Left with just the patches. So we see we've got our RBAC configuration on this cluster. We don't have a similar configuration in Talm yet, so we are going to be copying a kube config around. I know what I wrote in the show notes. I know what I wrote. You don't have to tell me. We will get this capability back later, but I'm not going to push it for now because I'm really the only person who accesses this cluster. So it is okay for me to copy the one kube config, I think. For now, as long as we have a plan to not have to do that for long. And all of this configuration, I think, came from the Talos Bootstrap Guide. Talos Bootstrap Guide. Here, this one. Yeah, this looks familiar, right? So this is where we're going to switch gears and use this one instead. And I'll show you. We're going to delete some files that are in Git so we can look at the diff of what a brand new Talm init preset cozy stack looks like. Okay, our cluster is not going to be called cluster 1. So I guess we never cloned this repo anywhere. We have all the same config files in our this directory here. We have a make file to remind us how to iterate through this thing. So we can do it in the speed run. All right, and we've got new call nodes already taken care of, hopefully including the user disks to wipe. We can verify that. It looks like 2 disks with no LVM volumes or any bullshit, so I think we're ready to start. Almost. one thing first, right? So the parts we're going to wipe out includes this chart.yaml, all of these chart files. We're going to keep the configs directory. The nodes directory we're going to wipe out. We're going to bring those files back one by one in the instructions. The templates directory we are going to wipe out. We are going to generate those first, then check the diff, because there's a significant diff, I think, that we need to restore. But we'll see that. And then the values file. I think the values file also has a diff of some kind. Yeah, I think it's just the endpoint and the advertised subnets, because that's our local network detail. It so happens that we have 12net and 13net. So, okay. So the make file has some clean commands. Let's see. I think clean template is the one we want now. We don't have any secrets. Nodes we can clean as well, right? What is clean nodes? Does that do what I think? rm-r nodes. Yeah, sure. Okay, clean template and clean nodes. Let's just look at these first and see that they haven't really had much in the line of customization done, which is why we haven't done anything about our dex config. Here, I think, is where we would add it. But I don't want to rush these things. Here we've got extra args. We can add API server extra args right there. It would be no problem. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to follow the instructions and do speed run. Okay. So I do not know if I have made a tactical error here or not. I did some things from memory that I didn't follow the docs, and I'm not sure if I'm ahead of the docs in a bad way or if everything's okay. But the one machine is restarting now. We can see this one is formatting some kind of partition or something. So that looks good. See if we can bootstrap here. Oh. This time it worked. So we should be able to get a cube config now. I think. Yeah. We're in. Look at that. Are we ready to bootstrap Flux? I think so. No, actually, we're not going to bootstrap this Flux. I am working on something so that we can use the Flux-Operator here, but it's not exactly ready yet. So we're going to bootstrap Flux without bootstrap, the cozy stack way, using a config map and kubectl apply, which is not exactly a Flux bootstrap, but here we go. So we've got our configs. Yep. And we've got make install here, ready for this step. Take a look and see what pods are being created for us. Probably not many pods as of yet. I see the machines are doing some kind of rebooting thing right now, so hopefully that's good. I see some pending pods now. That's also good. And this was supposed to be no narration. So this is going pretty well. At this point, we're waiting for CNI to come online. Then we're going to be waiting for all the Helm releases to finish. And it would be really nice to be able to set the dependency requeue shorter, which is what I want the Flux-Operator here for. But one thing at a time. We're going to bootstrap Flux inside of a virtual cluster. It's not really a virtual cluster, it just has virtual machines for nodes. It's a real cluster. We're going to have an etcd cluster that runs on these two machines to share between clusters. If we add more clusters, we'll add a tenant. We're going to add a tenant. His name is going to be Harvey. We're going to add Howard later. So what we figured out is we actually need Howard to stay online so that we can authenticate clusters with Deis. So maybe now it's clear why I'm not rushing into the Deis config, because it's about to change. Anyway, we're going to use Harvey temporarily while we migrate Howard into the new cluster. But as you may recall, Howard provides other services, some of which are on Hephy Workflow, and we cannot upgrade those until we migrate away from dockerbuilder. What are we migrating to? Either the slug builder or something else. Got lots of options. But I'm told that slug builder still works in newer versions of Kubernetes. I haven't honestly tested Hephy Workflow against the latest version of Kubernetes. I've had other priorities. But I'm getting around to it. I will work my way back there. So we see we've got our cluster network and Flux is ready. And that means the rest of these things are going to proceed in order. So kubeovn is ready. All these things are waiting for a full 30 seconds at least. Because we haven't customized our dependency requeue, like I mentioned before. And we could add more concurrency. I think we could add more concurrency. And this would get done a lot quicker. But again, this cluster is actually on Wi-Fi, so the limiting factor may be the Wi-Fi more than anything. It may be that we're going to saturate the pipe no matter, and actually I have to make sure I'm not on the wrong Wi-Fi network here, or we're going to have drop frames as well. It looks like I'm okay. We do have, we're fully irradiated, let's put it that way. I would like to move this back to a wired link, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I need, I mean, I've done that before, but I'm doing an already excessive amount of self-hosting. I've got Pi-hole, I've got my own DHCP server, aside from the router's DHCP server. I've got multiple subnets on the same switch, a managed switch. So I've got bridge networks. Things are complicated. But I can't help but think this would go faster if we bump the concurrency up. A part of speedrun is we have to upstream things like Flux-Operator so that we can get the customizations that we want. And that takes time to make sure it's a good fit. It is, after all, still pre-release software. I do think we are a bit limited by the concurrency here, and I'm going to try to fix it inline. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I don't want to interrupt the installer. I think it's doing its thing. You see the limiting factor here is it's running only 4 things at once. Because that's how many concurrency we have set. But we have so many different charts to install. There are really a lot of them that could already be moving. I'm not sure if that would just saturate the pipe faster, drag everything down a lot slower. Let's see if we can get into the dashboard now. There's a cool trick with Talm. I read this in the docs. Talm dashboard. You can pass it multiple node files, and you get multiple dashboards. Look at this. That looks healthy. Right. Page down, page down, page down. Page down. Oh, I forgot. We can also look at that. All right, we're basically done here. There's nothing we need to wait for anyway. So what we need to do now is use the storage configuration. Oh, I thought not anyway. I guess we still have to wait for this one. We do have to speed things up a little bit if we can, because the Flux meeting is in about an hour. And if we're not done by then, we're just going to have to can it. So if we look at storage classes right now, we can see there are no storage classes. And that's what we're waiting for. We're going to allow LinStore to consume some physical disks from the nodes to produce us a storage cloud so that we can partition those disks and make persistent volume. They're not really literally partitioned, of course. They're used in a replicated configuration, so you can have redundant disks, span nodes. So that's pretty cool. Definitely an important feature for your home lab if you want to have a serious business cluster in it. But I guess this is the biggest one here. This must be the biggest image of all. Takes the longest, at least, to come up. We need the LinStore controller to be up so we can communicate with it. And of course, it communicates with all the nodes on our behalf and orchestrates with the CSI controller. I would like to hear another song. How about all of you? I don't know if I want to hear any of these songs, though. Maybe this one.
Georges Brassens, ça? Non, ce n'était pas le radeau de la méduse, ce bateau, qu'on se le dise au fond des ports, dise au fond des ports. Il naviguait en père peinard sur la grand-mare des canards et s'appelait les copains d'abord, les copains d'abord. Ces fluctuates mergitures, c'était pas de la littérature, n'en déplaise aux jeteurs de sorts, aux jeteurs de sorts. Son capitaine et ses matelots n'étaient pas des enfants de salauds, mais des amis franco des ports, des copains d'abord. C'était pas des amis de luxe, des petits castors et pollux, des gens de Sodome et Gomorre, Sodome et Gomorre. C'était pas des amis choisis par Montaigne à Boétie. Sur le ventre ils se tapaient fort, les copains d'abord. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. ce qui est tenu locaux, qui m'est jamais viré de bord, mais viré de bord. Naviguer en père peinard sur la grand mare des canards, et s'appeler les copains d'abord, les copains d'abord, oui. Et s'appeler les copains d'abord, les copains d'abord. S'appeler les copains d'abord, les copains d'abord. Très vite. Dans tes grands yeux noirs, je me suis perdue. J'attends un regard, le cœur suspendu. Je t'aime tellement fort, toi qui me fais peur. Est-ce un mauvais sort ou la mauvaise heure? Et autour de nous chantent les tziganes. Tout le monde s'en fout, s'enivre au champagne. Dans tes beaux yeux noirs, je sonde mon amour et mon désespoir. Alors chant est sourd. Je perds la raison à chercher tes bras, brûlant de passion. Viens, embrasse-moi de tes grands yeux noirs, l'étrange lumière à nimber le soir de tous les mystères. Hop là. Et la basse. Je suis fou de toi, ma belle aux yeux noirs, même si je ne sais pas.
This is a part.
C'est pour ma passion, les yeux noirs que j'ai fait cette chanson. Oh, chiché, dire là. J'ai
Not gonna win any speed records this time.
alors chut. Sous aucun prétexte, je ne peux avoir de réflexes malheureux. Il faut que tu m'expliques un peu mieux comment te dire adieu. Mon cœur de silex vite prend feu. Ton cœur de pyrex résiste au feu. Je suis bien perplexe, je ne veux me résoudre aux adieux. Je sais bien qu'un ex-amour n'a pas de chance aussi peu. Mais pour moi, une explication vaudrait mieux. Sous aucun prétexte, je ne veux devant toi surexposer mes yeux. Derrière un Kleenex, je saurai mieux comment te dire adieu. Comment te dire adieu. Tu as mis à l'index nos nuits blanches, nos matins gris bleus. Mais pour moi, une explication vaudrait mieux. Sous aucun prétexte, je ne veux devant toi surexposer mes yeux. Derrière un Kleenex, je saurai mieux comment te dire adieu. Comment te dire adieu. Oula. Comment te dire adieu. Mais là, sérieusement, je ne sais pas comment faire sans toi. Comment te dire adieu. Adieu. Oui, adieu. Sous le ciel de Paris s'envole une chanson. Elle est née d'aujourd'hui dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous le ciel de Paris marchent des amoureux. Leur bonheur se construit sur un air fait pour eux. Sous le pont de Bercy, un ciel de Paris a son secret pour lui. Depuis 20 siècles, il était pris de notre île sans louis. Quand il est trop jaloux de ses millions d'amants, il fait gronder sur nous son tonnerre éclatant. Le ciel de Paris n'est pas longtemps cruel. Pour se faire pardonner, il offre un arc-en-ciel. Champs-Élysées, aux Champs-Élysées. Ma chambre a la forme d'une cage. Le soleil passe son bras par la fenêtre. Les chasseurs à ma porte comme des petits soldats qui veulent me prendre. Je ne veux pas travailler, je ne veux pas déjeuner, je veux seulement oublier, et puis je fume. Déjà j'ai connu le parfum de l'amour, 1 million de roses n'embaumeraient pas autant. Maintenant une seule fleur dans mes entourages me rend malade. Je ne veux pas travailler, non, je ne veux pas déjeuner. Je veux seulement oublier, et puis je fume. Je ne suis pas fière de ça, qui veut me tuer. C'est magnifique être sympathique, mais je ne le connais jamais. Non, je ne veux pas travailler, je ne veux pas déjeuner. Je veux seulement oublier, et puis je fume. Je ne suis pas fière de ça, lui qui veut me tuer. C'est magnifique être sympathique, mais je ne le connais jamais. Non, je ne veux pas travailler, non merci. Je ne veux pas déjeuner, je veux seulement oublier. Et puis je fume.
Okay, here we go. 30 seconds is up. We have played. We are idiots.
Lentement dans le soir, le train pas l'horizon. Un nuage s'étire sur son toit bleu. En passant, il semble dire un triste adieu. Et tout ce que j'aimais lorsque le train vire dans un flou de fumée s'efface à jamais. Un nuage s'étire sur son toit bleu. En passant, il semble dire un triste adieu. Et tout ce que j'aimais lorsque le train vire dans un flou de fumée s'efface à jamais.
Bonjour et bienvenue chez Pamplamousse. It's happening. We are making vinyl. Nous allons presser du vinyle, and it's because of you. Thank you so much to everyone who's ordered. If you haven't ordered yet, you have a couple days left. This is your last chance. If you want vinyl of the French EP, you have until February 2nd, which is...
Give me something to say in French. On est les meilleurs.
This is Bob.
Jean-Marie, on t'a dit que t'étais moitié fille, que ton pantalon marron était bien trop petit, que ta mère préférait ton frère, qui fut accepté au Polytechnique. Jean-Marie, tu as bien compris que les gosses ne sont pas sympathiques, sauf peut-être celle qui s'appelle Angélique. Allez, vas-y, tente ta chance. Allez, vas-y, Jean-Marie danse. Allez, danse, 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 comme dans les films américains. Allez, danse, Jean-Marie. Ouais, bon, ça s'est pas exactement passé comme tu l'imaginais. C'est pas grave, la prochaine fois tu seras prêt, hein? Ouais, faut juste répéter un peu. Jean-Marie, 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 Jean-Marie et Angélique. Allez, vas-y, retente ta chance. Allez, vas-y, Jean-Marie danse. Allez, danse, 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 comme dans les films américains. Allez, danse, Jean-Marie. I've been wasting all my time just trying to get to moitié jolis, seulement moitié jolis. Mais de toute façon, ils sont cons, et aussi tous moitié vide. Et Jean-Marie, il te trouvait pas mal lui, pas mal du tout en fait. C'est pour ça qu'il t'a demandé d'être sa petite angélique aimée. Et t'as dit non. Allez vas-y, retends ta chance. Allez vas-y, Jean-Marie danse. Allez vas-y, tente ta chance. Allez vas-y, Jean-Marie danse. Allez danse, danse, comme dans les films américains. Allez danse, Jean-Marie, vas-y danse. Oui danse. Si tu l'aimes Angélique, ben danse.
On est les meilleurs. What does that mean? We're the best?
Well, I'm a bit mystified now. So we've got a kube-config for Harvey. Oh, and it is actually responding now. That's great. Actually, that's great news. We might even be able to complete the speed run today. At least this part of it. So we're going to bootstrap using the Fleet Infra repo this cluster. See, we're going to give it a new directory in here. So we're going to do just like this, but just one thing different. And we've done this lots of times before. As long as the cluster network comes up, this should work. And then we're going to actually follow the very fine instructions to see how easy it is to migrate to Flux-Operator when you read the instructions. So how's our cluster doing? It's got Cilium operator, it's pending. I think we're waiting for nodes to come up. That's what's happening. Yeah, look at that. Virtual machines. Pretty sure they'll come up. We're getting our pods scheduled, at least. They're getting scheduled into pending. So as soon as the nodes are ready, they'll run. We got some kind of error. We're not running the latest version of Flux. That might have been a mistake. I don't think it's going to matter, though. We're going to let the operator upgrade us to Flux 2.3 when it's time. We're going to start with Flux 2.2, actually, so I think we have time. We've got a half an hour left before the meeting. I'm going to need a little bit of time between the meeting, between this and the meeting. Oh, I think we got the error because our kube config swapped out from under us. So it's not really sure what happened. But I think if we go back to that cluster, we'll see it's fine. Yes, it's coming up fine. We really don't have a... Oh, okay. Maybe we didn't bootstrap anything. We shouldn't have switched. Shouldn't have switched from one to the other. What just happened here? Did I... Uh-oh. We bootstrapped Cozy Stack. That's exactly what we said we weren't going to do. Well, we don't need that. I guess you shouldn't switch your kube config out from under bootstrap. Now that's a lesson learned. We got our source controller online. All right, everything is good. So we've got a Flux system customization for Harvey. And we're going to replace that. Man, that's really annoying. I'm going to pin this to the right side of the screen for now because I can't stand that. Okay. Got our fleet infra. And we're going to follow the instructions. There are definitely instructions for how to do this. fluxcd.controlplane.io. That's where we're going. Yeah, trying to remember. Okay, Flux-Operator. All right, so installation is easy. First, we're going to install it. Okay. These are alternative methods. If you don't like to use the Helm CLI, you got lots of options here. We're not going to uninstall anything here. We're going to go down to the controller section. We're going to read about configuration. We're going to set up our first configuration. Remember, we said we wanted Flux 2.2. And does it say? It doesn't say here what to do with this. It says we're putting it in a file fluxinstance.yaml. All right, we'll do that. And we know that this isn't going to be managed by Kubernetes because we have this customization.yaml, and we're not going to list it here. We're just going to apply it, like the instructions suggest. So it's already replaced our Flux installation with one that's managed by Flux-Operator. And it's nearly ready. But this customization is still managed by Flux, not by Flux-Operator. So this is incomplete here. We're just following the first guide here. The second guide tells us about syncs. We can set up our own sync, which is going to replace the existing Flux system sync. So we're going to do this in this file again. Git repository. All right. Now we're going to have a declarative definition, a minimal declarative definition of the intent to install Flux system. And it's going to overwrite our existing Flux system customization. Now at this point we can add Flux instance to the Git repo if we want. It's not going to do anything. But that certainly will. We've already got a source secret there because we did bootstrap. And the rest of these are not relevant. So we're going to go to the bootstrap migration steps. I think this is going to explain to do just what we've already done. Create a Flux instance resource using the same name, same configuration as for Flux Bootstrap. Okay, we can list our components if we want. Cluster. We probably want to be a bit more explicit about these things. But it looks like our default config worked okay. Okay, and now we should be able to do what we wanted to see there. It says it's not managed by Flux. Okay, now I think we're done. So we can follow clean up the repository steps here. We can get rid of a lot of this garbage. In fact, we can get rid of all of this garbage. If we want, we can get rid of Flux instance. We'll move it down there, and we'll just remove all those files. See, that's not managed by Flux right now, but if we push this commit, there. Now Flux is managing itself via Flux instance. Perfect. That's all we have time for today. I'm going to check if we got any viewers or questions, but I don't have much hope for that. There's one watching now. I think that's me. All right. Hello, everyone. Okay. Hopefully we are in time for the Flux meeting. I think everything's good. Cool. Okay. So the next time we meet, I think we will probably have Deis installed on Harvey. We'll be ready to do a recovery speed run because, of course, before we trust the system as much as we trust Howard, we're going to have to test it. We're going to have to tear it down, see if we can stand it back up quickly, what obstacles there might be. But we can't do this too many times because every time we test it, we're going to incur a cert manager penalty. Cert manager will only let you get 5 certificates in a week unless you're set up as a staging certificate. So we want a production certificate because we're going to use it for Deis for a live cluster. So we're going to need a production certificate from Let's Encrypt. So we can only test this so many times before we are really live because it's not a valid test if we can't authenticate to a real Kubernetes cluster. So left to the imagination of the reader is whether we're going to do that with the parent cluster, the root cluster, or a tenant cluster, or all three. If there could be a way to unify the three so that they would all have the same RBAC, that would be a little bit insane, but it would be nice from a sysadmin perspective to be able to impose that I can get access to all of the clusters with my OIDC token without any additional futzing around with cluster to cluster. But I don't think we have time for any of that today, so hope you enjoyed the music, and hope we didn't get too many copyright strikes. Have a great evening. It's not evening yet, but have a great morning, afternoon, and then evening. See you later.